Hey guys, welcome to Zelda Dungeon. This is Zelda Discussion, sort of. This is a spin-off series called Zelda Discussion Off Topic. And the reason why is because, as you know, the way Zelda Discussion works is that I pose a topic, you guys post comments on that video, and then I read those comments and react to them, and then in the next video we go through the same thing again. However, sometimes you guys go off topic and they're very interesting comments that I want to read and respond to, but they're not about the topic at hand, so I can't really. So now we have a new series where I can. So let's get straight to it. For None Other says, "Are you sure that's a new enemy? It just looks like a new incarnation of Moblin." We had some confusion, I guess. Basically, I was pointing out how in the trailer, Link is fighting that giant robotic octopus-looking thing. It's kind of like a robotic Octorok in a way. But I think this person was talking about the enemies in the gameplay footage, where Link is definitely fighting something that looks like a bokoblin for Zelda U. So it was just some confusion. You thought I was talking about the bokoblin, I was talking about the giant robot thing. And the reason why this came up is that Mr. Anuma said that this is a brand new enemy that's been developed. SBC Marine 81 says, "Be neat if the new Zelda U combined the landscapes from both Zelda 1 and Zelda 2, seeing as the first Zelda game took place in the Death Mountain of Zelda 1. I mean, sort of. Actually, even more than that, Zelda 2's overworld actually has all of Zelda 1's overworld in it. It's just shrunken down, because Zelda 2's overworld, we're given to imagine, is that much more gigantic than Zelda 2's overworld. So basically everything north of Death Mountain is what we explore in Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, and we get a chance to sort of retread the Zelda 1 overworld, but because the Zelda 2 overworld is so gigantic, when they represent Zelda 1's overworld, it's tiny in comparison. So it would be amazing to play a game where we do a 3D version of Zelda 2's overworld. It would be massive. Rachiboo says, "Just wondering, where do you get all of your Legend of Zelda merch? I want everything you have." Well, you can't have my exact ones, but you can buy copies of them. I get them from all over the place, sometimes as gifts from friends, so I don't know exactly where they got them. Oftentimes it's just like on eBay or at Hot Topic or something like that. I also have a Zelda tank top that I found on Etsy. I found it because I was working for a Zelda fan site at the time, doing news, and we did a story, or I think that's when I was the editor-in-chief, and we did a news story about the tank tops, and I was like, holy moly, I want one of those, so I immediately went and bought one, and it's gotten kind of old, and now it's just one of my workout shirts. Rolf Master says, "Who says it's not a prequel to Skyward Sword?" So we're talking about where in the timeline Zelda Wii U is going to take place. A lot of people are saying it looks like a sequel to Skyward Sword. Other people think that it looks like a sequel to Wind Waker. Pretty sure that's not the case. Some people think it could be the prequel to Skyward Sword, and I mean, there is some story there. We know from the manga that Nintendo released in the back of Hyrule Historia that there was this whole episode where Link of that era was helping out with the goddess in imprisoning Demise, and then Skyward Sword takes place hundreds of years after that. So we could have a game that takes place during that era, I suppose. I doubt that's the case, though. I suspect that, if anything, it's going to be either taking place in the landscape from the original Legend of Zelda, but hundreds of years later, thus at the far end of the timeline, but we'll get to that in a bit. King of Twilight 13 says, "Can someone give me the name of the Outset Island remix played in the background?" Well, contrary to common thought, it is not Darude Sandstorm. It is, in fact, an amazing remix done by, I forget what the name of the band is, but this song and then many more like it, I think there was a total of 10 of them or something like that, were created specifically for an art show called Triforce Tribute, which happened here in my hometown, Portland, Oregon. and it was this amazing art show where it was just all 100% Zelda art. And then the curators of this art show commissioned this band to create this song, which is called Dressed in Green, and various other songs in the same kind of style that are sort of kind of chiptune-y but modern remixes of Zelda songs, and it's amazing. As far as where you can get that album, it's one of those pay whatever you want kind of deals, so you could even pay $0 if you want. I don't know the exact link, but if you just Google Triforce Tribute Album, I'm sure you'll find it on their Bandcamp, and it is worth the $0. It's worth all of the dollars. The Saboteur 45 says, why does everyone think that Zelda Wii U is a remake of Legend of Zelda, or taking place in the Legend of Zelda overworld, just because of one simple screenshot of Link on a cliff overlooking the lands with the sun setting as the original artwork for the game? I honestly think that it's its own game and own overworld. Well, most Zelda games share an overworld, not identical, not a 1-to-1 ratio, but the basic concept of where Death Mountain is located, where Lake Hylia is located, where like the Lost Woods are, vaguely where the Gerudo Desert are. Sometimes it's tilted around a little bit, but it's the basic landscape. The reason why people are so certain that this takes place in the original Legend of Zelda 1 landscape is because of things like the fact that there's a mountain range that stretches across the horizon in the north, and basically just the shape, the outline of the coast, especially down in like the southeast, is pretty much identical, and where there's this big forest in the southwest, it all kind of matches up to the Zelda 1 landscape. Now, of course, nobody thinks that this is a 1-to-1 ratio, like, well, there were X number of trees from this point to this point, so there should be that number of trees in Zelda Wii U. No. It's just kind of like a 3D reimagining of that landscape. So that's why some people take it a step further and think, maybe this is even a remake of the original Legend of Zelda. Not a 1-to-1 ratio, like, this is where Dungeon 1 is located, and this is where Dungeon 2 is located, and they have these specific shapes, but more like a retelling of that same story of Ganon having acquired the Triforce of Power and blah, 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 blah. That's what some people think. Cat D says, I'm so excited for the open world concept. There's also rumor that the Link may be gender neutral or represents a female this time in the game, but I'm not sure. Personally, I would prefer Link to stay male. Now, as far as Link being gender neutral or a female, that was completely debunked, and that all arose from a joke that Mr. Numa told, not realizing that it would sort of snowball and end up having this kind of effect. Basically, during last year's E3, somebody was like, hey, wow, Link is wearing blue and looks kind of feminine. Could that be a female version of Link? And all Mr. Numa said in a joking manner was, who even said that was Link? So that caused some people to be like, oh my gosh, that means that it's not even specifically Link, but it's a female character, and who could this be? And all of this stuff. So the site that I was affiliated with at the time, and still am, Zelda Dungeon, we asked him, so, there was this controversy about, is this Link, is this a female? Mr. Numa was very clear. He said, this absolutely is Link, and he is absolutely not a female, that he was just making a joke. So now we've cleared that up. But anyways, that is it for this episode, and so what I want from you guys down in the comments below, if you would be so kind, is to tell me what the topic of the next regular Zelda discussions video should be. I mean, the next one that's coming up is the one that I've already recorded but haven't posted yet, about the topic being, did you even want Zelda U to be an open world type of game? But what should the topic for the video after that be? Let me know in these comments if you'd be so kind, and I'll go ahead and choose whichever topic sounds the best and post that in the next regular video, and then we'll continue on from there. Also, if you want to check out my own channel where I babble endlessly about Nintendo news, you can click here, and see you guys then. Bye, guys.